Good morning and welcome back. Mr. Parker here live for today's episode of Homeschool Psychology, the talk show. And boy, do we have a good episode today. Our musical guest is Lady. Fantastic group here to talk about our topic and sing an amazing song. And our special guest is the wonderful, the extremely talented Miss Ashley. And Miss Ashley is here to talk with us all about grit. Miss Ashley is an esthetician who owns her own business and is featured on various podcast episodes talking about how to start a business and social justice issues. I'm really excited about our topic today because grit is so important to me. Maybe you've heard that word before, but what it means is, how do we face and then overcome obstacles? It's like perseverance, but it's what we do after that really counts. Grit's important to me. I've had to use it a lot. I've faced a lot of obstacles in my life, and I'm sure you have too. And so for me, grit means having a positive mindset, overcoming the challenge, and knowing that even though I made a mistake or even though I failed, I'm going to try better and do better the next time. Let's bring on our first guest, and it is the wonderful Miss Ashley. Miss Ashley, welcome to the show.
Hi, Mr. Parker.
Hello, thank you for being here. How are you?
I'm good. I'm doing really well. Thank you for having me. How are you doing?
I am good. I'm really excited to be talking to you all about today's topic, grit.
Yes.
But first, I want to know a little bit more about you. I told everyone you're an esthetician and you've owned your own business, but I don't know if I know what an esthetician does. Can you tell us?
Yes. So an esthetician is another word for a skincare therapist. So I am licensed in the state of Colorado to do facials. I can do lash extensions. I can do makeup. And what else can I do? I can do really cool things like microdermabrasions, chemical peels, all kinds of stuff that have to do with your skin from here to here. That's what I'm licensed to do.
Amazing. That sounds like a wonderful job.
It's so fun.
Awesome. So we're talking all about grit. And I'm wondering, what does grit mean to you?
I would say that grit means to me is that you just keep pushing through. So whatever task it is or whatever goal you have or whatever may happen to you in life, you just keep pushing through. So I guess, can I share some examples with you?
Yeah.
Okay, so my first thing that I can think about grit is third grade. So I'm not very good at math, Mr. Parker, okay? It's all just numbers to me. So in third grade, we used to have a multiplication test. And so you had to get as many multiplication numbers or questions correct within a certain amount of time. Since I'm not that good at math, I never really did good on the time section. I would work through the problems, but I wouldn't really get like a good time. So the treat was that if you got all of your multiplication problems done within a certain amount of time, you get to go to McDonald's and have lunch. Like, who doesn't want McDonald's? Are you kidding me? So I just had to keep pushing through. I got a tutor after school and I would practice at home, and I guess what, Mr. Parker? I got to go to McDonald's.
Oh my gosh, how amazing.
And it was so good.
Miss Ashley, you could have just given up. Times tables are really hard. Why didn't you?
They're so hard. I didn't want to give up because that's something I wanted to achieve for myself, you know? So you just got to keep pushing forward. It is going to be hard, but I like to break it down into smaller steps so it doesn't feel as hard. So one day I would try, 3 multiplication problems. If I got those done in a quick amount of time, maybe I'd do 5, then maybe 7, then maybe 10. And then by then, you're in that time limit that they had.
Awesome. So grit is not giving up even when it's challenging. And something
Yes.
you do, you can break down the bigger goal. Like if you have this big goal of finishing all your times tables, you can just do a few at first, and then a few more, and then a few more.
Yes, exactly. And that's what got me to McDonald's, to those golden arches.
Yum. What an awesome example. Do you have another example of grit?
Let's see. Okay, one thing that I wasn't good at in fourth grade, right, was climbing rope. Did you ever have to do that?
I don't think so. I'm afraid of heights, so I don't think I would have done it.
Oh, I didn't know that. That's good to know. So I'm not afraid of heights, but that was something in class that you had to achieve. And I can't remember what it was called, but you know, they had you do like a certain types of activities in PE to pass. And so you had to climb. I had little noodle arms, so that just wasn't really working for me at the time. But once again, you just break it down. So one, it was just like hanging on to the rope. Okay, I got that down. Okay, then maybe like lift your hands a little bit higher and then still sit there. That's okay. But the next time at gym class, you go in a little higher and then try to pull yourself up. And then you just go a little bit there, a little bit there. Once you're able to pull yourself up, see if you can lift your legs up. And that's okay if you can't do it the first time, but maybe next time. But if you just keep pushing at it, eventually you'll get it.
This is amazing. These are such great examples of grit. And so what I'm hearing you say is, even when something is challenging, things are always challenging when we do them for the first, second, 500th time, we keep working at it. We do a little bit more each time, and we have a growth mindset and say, maybe I can't do it yet, but I'm going to keep working at it.
Exactly. And to go off of where you're saying it's going to be hard, climbing rope is hard. I got like calluses every day, and that was not fun. And it was very uncomfortable, but I got it.
And so I think showing grit is pushing through some of the uncomfortable things, pushing through the hard stuff.
Yes. Yes, absolutely. Life is always going to throw you some really hard stuff. You just have to keep pushing forward. Life is always going to throw stuff at you, but how do you respond to it? Would you prefer, oh, I can't do it, and throw your hands up and just be sad? Or, you know, you can be a little sad and it can be a little bit challenging, but are you going to try a little bit harder the next day and go from there?
Awesome. I love that you said that life will constantly throw hard stuff at you, because I am wondering, you told us a story about third grade and fourth grade, and I'm wondering, does that mean that's when the challenges end and then life gets easy after that?
Oh no. Ugh, I wish, but you know, every year, I'm thankful to live and get live another year every year. But every year presents its challenges. For example, COVID. I feel like we've all been dealing with a lot of hard stuff with COVID-19. So how do we push through that? And I feel like as a country and as a world, we've seen the whole world push through, which has been really cool to see.
You're so right. Every year brings us a challenge, and we have to show grit, and that's how we grow. And I know back in March, I was really afraid of what was going on, and it's still pretty scary, but we all work together and we practice and get through things.
Yes, and the small steps that we all take. So instead of being terrified, you listen to the science. What can we do? We can put on a mask, right? Okay, you don't feel as scared to go outside, right? So you can go outside. What else should you be doing? We know that according to the CDC, you need to wash your hands, right? Okay, then you feel a little bit better. So it's like you take these little steps and eventually you push through. Because although COVID-19 is happening now and it might be happening for a while, it's not going to happen forever.
I think that's a good thing to think about. Often it feels like when something bad happens, it will be forever. But really, we just take it a step at a time. I know maybe March 20th was one step for me, and then April 30th was another step. And and we just have to take it one step at a time and not get overwhelmed.
Yes, agreed. Break it down makes it not as overwhelming, for me at least.
Love it. Ashley, this has been so insightful. Thank you for sharing your stories of grit as a kid, your stories of grit right now.
Yes.
And is there anything else you want to tell us about grit or any advice for our hundreds of viewers out there?
Does that mean I'm famous now?
I think so.
Oh my gosh. You know, I think just to wrap up, just to keep saying, if you push through, you will eventually reach your goal. If you keep doing the same thing and just breaking down your goal and just making sure that you're working towards your goal every single day, you will achieve it. And there will be hard days. Might get some calluses like I got in 4th grade, but you heal. You'll be okay. You're resilient.
I love it. You know, Miss Ashley, we have a climbing rope at my school, and I think that you have given me the strength to maybe go and try it one of these days. I know.
How exciting. You'll have to send me some video.
I will.
Get the hands ready.
Miss Ashley, thank you so much for being here and bringing your bright personality, your words, and just all this wisdom. Thank you so much.
You're very welcome. Thanks for having me, Mr. Parker.
We are going to put, is there a link that our viewers can see some of your work or get in touch with you?
Sure. I'm usually pretty active on Instagram. So my aesthetics Instagram handle is For Your Eyes Only Aesthetics.
We're going to put that on. And do you have a website as well?
Yes, it's www.youreyesonlyaesthetics.com.
I love it. All right, we're going to put that all in here. It's going to scroll across the screen. Miss Ashley, thank you for being here. Thank you for clearing our skin up and making us look beautiful. Thank you for everything.
Of course, anytime.
We'll talk to you soon.
Stay safe out there, Mr. Parker.
You too. We'll talk to you soon. Wow, Miss Ashley talking to us all about grit. That was so wonderful. I loved hearing her different stories from her childhood and even how she's showing grit today. So great. We're going to take it next to our kids section. Let's see what they got.
Hey, Mr. Parker, this is some of the art I've been making. This one's my favorite because I love penguins. Back to you.
Awesome. All right, let's take it over to Teddy and Pocky for the weather.
We're just lounging here. Yeah, looks nice out or whatever.
Yeah, thanks, Teddy. Thanks, Pocky. Always great. We're going to take it to our Mr. Parker live reporting with musical guest Lady. Let's hear from him. Right. Thanks, Mr. Parker. I'm here live with Lady. Lady, thanks for being on the show.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you. We're so stoked to be here.
Tell us who you are. Where are you guys at right now, by the way?
Well, I'll start. My name is Aubrey Mabel.
And I'm Kathleen Hooper.
And we are currently in Telluride, Colorado. We have a show here tonight. So,
Yeah, we're musicians in a band called Lady. And we played a show yesterday, and Telluride is welcoming us back for another night. So we're so excited.
Wonderful. What has music been like for you during this time?
interesting.
I would say it's been one of the only constants, and that it can be seen in many different ways. With our consistent schedule that we had going pre-COVID, we were planned for weddings and lots of events and gigs and even a tour, which all came to a halt. And then we were separated. So Aubrey was living in one place and I was living in another. But it felt like even in that time of confusion, music was something that we could still do for ourselves and share with each other. So.
Yeah, well, and it's been interesting to, similarly to what you've done, just find new ways to be creative with our art and with our craft. And especially in a time where, I mean, our job description is bringing people together. So in a time where that is not safe, and just finding new ways to do it and still being able to provide value to people from safe distance.
Great. And our topic today is grit. And so it sounds like you two have had to be pretty gritty. And so talk to us about grit. What does it mean during now, during always, during on tour? Tell us about it.
I love the word grit. I actually, every year for the past few years, I've chosen 3 words to focus on for that year. And I believe it was 2 years ago now, my words were grace, pride, and grit. And to me, grit really felt like, the phrase nitty gritty, sort of getting into the details and getting through the hard stuff. And it's not always going to be smooth sailing, and the waters can get really rough. So we've experienced that a little bit as a band and then as individuals. But I feel like grit is those really important moments where you have to know that there's a light at the end of the tunnel, that you have to see the bigger picture. And going on tour, we have to be as scrappy and pull our grit out as much as possible. So really finding that inner strength and the inner wisdom, knowing that we can get through anything, even if it's really hard. Yeah, I mean, we can talk about details about that, but what about you?
Yeah, well, and I think it feels really good to have a partner in all of this, because we're gritty together, and we can almost inspire the other one to be gritty. And as Kathleen mentioned, much of what we've done up to this point has been so nitty gritty and do it yourself. And we plan and book and travel by ourselves for tour. We are the booking managers, the marketing agents, we are the tour bus drivers, we are the person creating the itinerary. So there's so many different hats that we're wearing that forces us to be gritty. And I think too, just having fun with that. Like grit has become something that I find really fun to I don't want to keep saying nitty gritty, but to really
kind of dig deep.
Dig deep and figure it out regardless, is something that I really love to do. It's problem solving.
Great. So I heard you say it's important to have a grit accountability partner when you can.
Yeah, it's helpful.
And it's you guys are saying it's fun to be gritty. It's fun to get down in there and do all that work, and that's so great to hear.
It's not always fun. I would say it's not always easy, but if you can have the mindset of knowing that there's a bigger picture for it and that there's a reason that you want to work really hard in order to reach your goals, then that makes it much more doable. And yeah, it's way more fun to do it with somebody else and not be the only person reminding you to work hard and to strive to reach your goals.
Well, and sometimes it's type 2 fun, for sure, of like, it's not fun in the moment, but it's fun to look back and say, whoa, look how hard I did that. Worked. I overcame that.
Yeah.
We got to a point where we didn't think we could get past this, and we did. And how cool is that?
We've talked a lot on this show about how if it was always easy, it'd be pretty boring.
Yeah.
The two of you are living that. Yeah, sometimes it can be really exciting, and looking back, it's great, but maybe in the moment it can be tough.
Absolutely. Yeah, I would say there are a number of stories that we could share with you, but one would be at when people offer a place to stay or come play in our yard or come travel here, we have often followed up with that, and we found a lot of really beautiful connections that way of just accepting the invitation. And one brought us to Ireland, and it was a really amazing opportunity to travel to Europe. We created a whole tour around it, and our friend, he is an amazing musician who goes by Oscar Blue. He said, come to Ireland, and so we did. And I would say that was some of the grittiest traveling and working together as a team to say, okay, we have to figure out how to get across a new city. We have to figure out the tube line in London, and then a bus to here. And then we're just all with really insanely heavy suitcases and getting places on time.
And then we shared a twin size bed in a college dorm room. And that was our version of grit in that moment of, okay, we're going to do this.
This is what we're doing.
This is happening.
Yeah.
Amazing. We
Yeah.
had a show last time about risk taking and
Mm-hmm.
taking like healthy risks. And it sounds like this was that. Like, hey, want to come to Ireland and just play a show? Great. See you in a few weeks. And it,
Yeah, of course, we did plan it out and we vetted. We had to make sure that it was a good scenario, but we felt really safe. And of course, we were with each other and did a lot of research. But it was definitely a risk, and it turned out really beautiful. But hilarious stories. Like, we were not comfortable the whole time. We were cold and wet because it was rainy the whole time. But we have a million hilarious stories to share and memories from that.
So in the moment, sharing that twin size mattress was not enjoyable, but looking back, having a bed was nice. So.
Yeah, it was like,
We had a bed.
we did that. We can tick that off the list.
Mm-hmm.
Wonderful. Well, do you have any advice for our viewers at home about how to be extra gritty?
That's a great question. I think going back to like the root of grit and the meaning of grit, I think for me it's going beyond what you thought you could do, or it's pushing past that moment where you want to give up but you don't. And so I would just advise, and something that I try to do in my life is when I find myself in those moments of, okay, like, how do I get beyond this, whether that's an obstacle or a challenge, getting creative and figuring out how I'm going to get past it. And again, having fun. I feel like when you can infuse fun into everything that you do, it just makes life better. And to look through obstacles and challenges from a new perspective of, this is going to feel so good when I'm on the other side of it. And how can I be creative to do something I've never done to get through it? So I guess long-winded, or I guess long story short, my advice is to have fun with grit. And when you're finding yourselves in those moments, how can you infuse fun back into it?
I would say trust yourself. When you talk about taking those risks and taking that first step forward, sometimes that first step is harder than the last one. And knowing that you can push through if you just keep trying, and really trusting your gut and understanding that you have an intuition, and if it's guiding you in that direction, then you'll probably get right where you need to be.
Great. So grit is having fun, it's being creative, it's persevering, and it's trusting yourself. That's it? That's all you have to do to be gritty?
That's it. Just check those boxes.
Wonderful. Well, ladies from Lady, thank you so much for being here today. I'm wondering if you happen to have a guitar around, maybe you could play a song for us. Do you think we could do that today?
Yeah, absolutely. We'd love to share a song.
Awesome. We can't wait to hear it. So thank you so much. And we're going to hear that song next from Lady. Thank you.
Thanks. Take care.
This is our song, Lean In. Wherever you are, join us in taking a deep breath. Inhale. Exhale. How amazing it is that we're alive. I've been losing my mind way too easily. I've been blind to things I usually see. Bending over backwards, trying not to break. Bending over backwards, does anybody feel the same?
you're alive. Lean in, breathe in, you're alive. Take me outside to where the lines blur. We can get lost in another world. Wake up in the morning, pack up our things and go. Coffee's getting colder, we better hit the road. Lean in, breathe in, you're alive. Lean in, breathe in, you're alive. Ooh, ooh, ooh. I'm alive, we're alive, we're alive, come on. I'm alive, you're alive, we're alive. I'm alive, you're alive, we're alive, come on. I'm alive, you're alive, we're alive. I'm alive, you're alive, we're alive, come on. I'm alive, you're alive, we're alive. I'm alive, you're alive, we're alive, come on. I'm alive, you're alive, we're alive. I'm alive, you're alive, we're alive, come on. I'm alive, you're alive, we're alive. Lean in, breathe in, you're alive. Lean in, breathe in, you're alive.
Wow, what great, insightful words, an amazing song from Lady. That's our show. It's all about grit. It's about not giving up even when things get hard. It's about climbing that rope in gym class, or just going with the flow when things don't go how you planned it. I hope you have a great day and you practice some grit. See you next time. Bye!
So how are you feeling?